Hi everyone, it's Amber. From an ancient battery to one of the most sacred religious icons, here are some of the most mysterious ancient objects of all time. Number 9. Roman head in Mexico. In the year 2000, archaeologists Romeo Hristov and Santiago Heno-vase published an article in Ancient Mesoamerica on their rediscovery of a tiny Roman terracotta head they found in a 16th century burial site in Mexico. Historians and scientists from universities agreed that the head is indeed genuine Roman, made in about 200 AD. So this means that a Roman artifact was found at an archaeological site in Toluca, Mexico that predates the arrival of Hernan Cortes. Now known as the Teca Chic Calish Tuwaka head, it has given rise to all kinds of theories that claim that Romans may have arrived at the Americas way before anyone else from the Old World. Romeo and Santiago, as well as other historians, believe it is possible that a Roman ship blew off course and landed on the shore of the Americas. However, it is also possible that the Spanish carried these figurines with them from Europe and used them to trade. There are other examples of Roman artifacts in the Americas, so regardless of how the little head got here, this is pretty neat. Everything we were taught in history class has been turned upside down with this discovery. Number 8. The BOLSHOI ZAYATSKY labyrinths in Russia. No one knows why ancient labyrinths were built on this tiny northern island in Russia's White Sea. BOLSHOI ZAYATSKY Island, part of the Solovetsky archipelago, is home to mysterious labyrinths dotted across the grounds. With a population of only a couple hundred people, the island dates back to 30,000 BC, and this has remained intact over time. People inhabited the island at least 3,000 years ago and used it to build villages and sacred sites, including an irrigation system. Archaeologists discovered large piles of boulders covering bones, petroglyphs, and places of worship. Most interestingly of all, they found these labyrinths made of stone heaps and some built into landscapes, creating earthen mounds. But who were these people? Very little is known about them and their way of life. The largest labyrinth is 79 feet in diameter. Most of them have a spiral shape, and some have a double spiral resembling two serpents with their heads in the middle facing each other. There are around 13 of them on the island itself, and about 35 in total. Some archaeologists believe that they represented a portal between our world and the next for ritual ceremonies. Labyrinths are a rare archaeological find, with only 300 known worldwide. The ones in and around BOLSHOI ZAYATSKY are some of the best preserved in the world. Number 7. The Devil's Bible. The Codex Higas, or the Devil's Bible, is the largest known surviving ancient European manuscript. Latin for giant book, it is located at the National Library in Stockholm, Sweden. With 160 pages made from donkey skin, each the size of a movie poster, this book is not only unique, but heavy. It is notorious for its large, full-page portrait of the devil himself. It contains 5 long texts as well as a complete Bible beginning with the Old Testament, then followed by 2 historical works. The first is the Antiquities and the Jewish War by Flavius Josephus, who lived in the 1st century AD. The second is Josephus, an encyclopedia of the Middle Ages by Isidore, who lived in the 6th century in Spain. Next is a collection of medical works and the New Testament according to codexhigas.com. Following the Devil's Portrait is a work about exorcising evil spirits. The legend of the Devil's Bible is that an ill-fated monk from the 13th century in what is now the Czech Republic broke his monastic code and was sentenced to be walled up alive. The only way to avoid this slow and excruciating death was to transcribe a beautiful, fantastic book that would contain all human knowledge at the time and would bring fame to the monastery forever. They allowed him to do it with one condition. He would only be given 1 day to complete the task. He began the tedious task of writing and creating illustrations, but when midnight came, he knew he would not be able to complete the book alone, and that he would end up dying. Out of desperation, he sold his soul to the devil, who completed the manuscript. As a thank you, the monk added the Devil's Portrait to the work. Number 6. RONGORONGO writing. Many people are already familiar with the mysterious giant moai statues on Easter Island, but in the 19th century, more mysterious artifacts containing a set of etched symbols were found on the remote island, located a few thousand miles west of South America. First recorded by Catholic missionary Eugene Uriad just after 1864, a total of 24 wooden carvings have been found, all containing a system of glyphs, now known as the RONGORONGO glyphs. It seems to be a form of writing, but the meaning of the glyphs has never been deciphered. If the glyphs do turn out to be writing, they may represent one of only 3 or 4 times in human history that writing was invented independently. It is possible that if someone were to decode this mysterious writing, it would probably offer valuable insight into the ancient Easter Island civilization. The script may have been used up until the 1860s and could have been influenced by early Spanish explorers. Whatever its origins, it disappeared quickly. The people started dying from the plague introduced by the explorers, and also because Easter Islanders switched to Spanish after the missionaries arrived. Some scholars believe that only the village elders or religious elders use these glyphs, making it very rare and easy to disappear. Number 5. Baghdad Battery. One of the most highly debated ancient artifacts is a clay pot. Well, there's a little more to it than that. Inside the clay pot is a copper cylinder and an iron rod suspended inside the copper without touching it. The rod shows evidence of corrosion, probably due to the use of an acidic liquid like vinegar or wine. Several of them were found in 1936 during an excavation of a 2,000-year-old village outside of Baghdad. While it is not clear what this device may have been used for, its name comes from a theory that this was an ancient electric battery. Another theory is that they were containers to hold papyrus, but the ancient battery theory is much more exciting. After World War II, Willard Gray, an American working at the General Electric high-voltage laboratory, built replicas and filled them with electrolyte. He found that the device could produce 2 volts of electricity. If it was truly a battery, what did they need to charge? Number 4. Lady of ELCHE. In 1897, archaeologists uncovered an extremely well-preserved bust of a woman wearing an elaborate headdress. Believed to date back to the 4th century BC, the bust shows the woman's face in great detail, along with a headdress, neck, and shoulders. She is richly clothed and was colored with red, yellow, and blue decorative paint, which is now gone. At the back of the statue, there is a large hole, which has raised many questions as to her true origin and what the hole could be for. It could have been part of a full-body statue and has strong Hellenistic influences. She could be a high priestess or a representation of the goddess of Carthage. Others strongly believe that she is the lost goddess of Atlantis. Independent researchers claim that the headdress is actually high-tech gear that reflects the highly advanced technology of the Atlantis civilization. This technology was supposedly used to transport people effortlessly to any place on Earth. The back of the headdress has a cone shape, leading people to believe that her skull itself was elongated. This could mean that the ancient people of Atlantis traveled around the world, influencing the elongated skulls of South Americans. Either way, the National Archaeological Museum of Spain in Madrid says that the Lady of Elche bust is one of its greatest treasures. Number 3. NAMPA figurine. While drilling a well in Nampa, Idaho in 1889, a tiny figurine made of baked clay was churned out by a drill bit. This small figure has created confusion and debate in the scientific and pseudoscientific community. In 1912, geologist George Frederick Wright reported that it was a female figure and that it had come from around a depth of 300 feet, when the sand pump began to bring up chunks of clay. He studied the iron oxide and quartz particles found under the figure's arm and determined that it was a genuine discovery since it wasn't like anything created in recent years. Other professors and researchers analyzed the iron oxides and confirmed they also came from the 300-foot depth deposits where the figure was found. Similar artwork was created by modern humans around 200,000 years ago, so it is nearly impossible for the figurine to date back to the age of those deposits, which are around 2 million years old. Today, the controversial little object remains the property of Charles F. Adams and is still displayed in a glass case at Boise's Park Museum in Boston. Scientists still cannot agree whether the object is a genuine relic or merely a hoax. It's hard to explain how the figure survived the churning of the drill and how it was found in the first place. Similar finds have been made in other drilling operations. In 1852, a well driller in Whiteside County, Illinois, retrieved a copper ring and another copper device shaped like a boat hook from 120 feet below the surface. And in 1971, another drill bit brought up a bronze coin from a depth of 114 feet outside Chillicothe, Illinois. Number 2. The Antikythera mechanism. This mysterious artifact was discovered lying at the bottom of the sea. Estimated to be around 2,000 years old, the Antikythera mechanism was found by divers in 1900 in a shipwreck off the coast of an island of the same name in Greece. Among the findings was a hunk of corroded bronze that contained gears with teeth like a clock and a ring divided into degrees. Nothing else like this has been discovered from antiquity, and nothing this sophisticated ever appears again for more than 1,000 years. Now known as an ancient Greek computer, it would have had a knob that turned 7 hands at various speeds, representing the sun, the moon, and 5 planets visible to the naked eye. 82 pieces have been found so far, and it has 4 spokes that would have rotated once per year to track the sun. Cicero mentions this device made by Archimedes in the 3rd century BC. This mechanism proves that the ancient Greeks used complex wheels and gears to create machines to understand their universe. Somehow, this technology from the ancient world was lost. Number 1. The Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is believed by many to be the burial cloth of Jesus of Nazareth. It is one of the most sacred religious icons on earth, venerated by millions of Christians as the actual burial garment of Jesus Christ. It is also one of the most fiercely debated subjects in theology, history, and science. The shroud is a sheet of woven fabric about 4.5 meters long, with reddish-brown markings on the front and back. The image of a man with hands folded can be made out on the cloth, with countless horrible wounds revealed through the images on the fabric that strongly indicate evidence of crucifixion and the biblical description of the death of Jesus. The shroud is kept in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, northern Italy, from where the shroud got its name. Radiocarbon dating tests performed on the cloth place it between the years 1260 and 1390. In 1898, a photographer took a black and white negative, revealing the face of a mysterious man and tortured body. The shroud has no signs of artificial pigment and has real blood stains. Scientists have tried to recreate the shroud, but so far, even with all the technology available, they have been unable to do so. The Vatican takes no official position on the shroud's authenticity, although it encourages the faithful to venerate it as a symbol of Christ's suffering. Thanks for watching! Be sure to subscribe and click right here for more videos. I'm Amber, and I'll see you next time on Peachy Planet.